All right, hello, this is Pete Wyden at the Professional Permaculture Designer. I am here still, if you've seen the other videos from this week, in Wisconsin, in Spring Green, at the farm that I'm managing. We're focusing on perennial agriculture, creating a highly forageable landscape with wild edibles, and we will also be planting a 10-acre prairie restoration this March. And we'll be frost seeding that, which is a pretty cool technique. If you're not in the temperate areas, or if you're not familiar with frost seeding, it's seeding the ground when there's a lot of freeze thaw going on, and the ground expands and then contracts again as it freezes and thaws and incorporates the seed that way. It's a pretty cool technique. So today we'll be talking about using the experiences you have with your clients to provide feedback to hone the service that you provide and create the highest quality experience, the most fun experience for you and your clients that you can. I also have a spot open for one-to-one design business mentorship if you're looking to improve your sales and marketing, bring in more clients, potentially raise your rates, provide a higher quality of service, and bring in the people that you really want to be working with, that you're excited about, to grow your design business. So let me know via personal message or comment below if you're interested in that. We're going to get going here with the delivery of your design process, the experience that your clients have. How is that working for you? It's important to take stock of that every couple few months and just take a look back, especially after the season winds down or even before it starts up again. What small shifts can you make to really improve the whole value that your clients are getting, your experience throughout the process? Are there areas where where you don't necessarily have the healthiest boundaries around the amount of time you're putting in, the amount of money you're getting back, and really the value exchange that's going on between you and your clients? Are there too many touch points? Is it getting cumbersome at certain areas? What feels great for you and what doesn't, what feels kind of clunky? And also it's important to understand how your clients are feeling about that too, which we'll get into as well. And it's always helpful to get feedback from people. I don't think it's not helpful to take things too personally when you're getting feedback from someone, whether it's been solicited, whether you asked for it or not. It's just really helpful to have feedback and know that nothing is personal. It's all somebody else's perception of what's going on. So there's no need to be hard on yourself or get worked up if things aren't going the way that you might have expected in the design process. It's all a learning experience, and no one thing is going to make or break your business. I want you to remember that. So take note of what's working and what just doesn't feel that great about your process, about the client's experience. And really it comes down to how smoothly things are flowing and whether maybe you need a more standard process for the way you're doing certain things, whether you need to lay out better in your initial contract, in your initial conversations when you're actually educating the client on what this experience will be like, laying things out more clearly so that you know exactly what's happening when you don't have things hanging out in the air that people aren't unsure about, and you don't have expectations, especially on the part of your clients. They're not expecting things that you never planned to provide, or also that you promised but you can't actually deliver on. So these are really important pieces to consider as you're moving forward with your business and really creating something that is a joy to deliver in terms of your service, and is going to be something that everyone feels like it's just a really, really great value. So getting feedback from your clients on what was great and what was not so great about the design process is really important. There might be areas where they felt like they wanted to have more feedback. There might be areas where even you felt like you needed more feedback at some point, but maybe you just felt like you didn't have time to incorporate their ideas, or perhaps you were getting too much feedback from your clients all the time, and you need to actually set specific points when they can give feedback. For example, I have different points in the design process where I have in-person meetings with my clients, or if it's remote, it could be a video meeting, although I don't do too much remote work at this point. um, having those laid out clearly is really important. So one thing you could do is throughout the process, you could ask your clients a couple times, like, how is this experience going for you? Is there anything that you feel like is missing or that could be improved? And especially at the end, you could just send people a simple couple question email about how things were for them. And that actually could also result in you getting some testimonials. If they were really happy with something, you could ask them, hey, could I put this on my website as some collateral for the type of work I do and the experience that you had? That could be really helpful for other people that are looking at possibly working with you in the future. And so also check back in and keep in touch with the people that you've worked with, because it's important to not only keep those relationships going for various reasons, but it's also really important to know if your design was effective, and also maybe other things came up later on that they realized weren't addressed in the initial design. And then that's not meaning that you'd have to go back and address that for free or anything like that, but it's really helpful to know, was there anything that was overlooked? Was there anything that was just way too detailed out in the design process that actually ended up needing to be scrapped because something else happened? Ways that you can save time in the future, ways that you can save your clients time and incorporate their feedback either more fully or at the right time, so it really gets considered in a deep way at the beginning of the design, for example. So what this really comes down to is this really creates a more valuable service that you're providing, because it's not something where somebody pays thousands of dollars and then they realize that, oh geez, this actually wasn't what I expected. And that's actually something that I've questioned in my own design work, is like, did this person actually like this? Because I didn't feel like I necessarily gave my all, even though I gave a lot. It's also important to look at how you're actually thinking on a personal level, emotionally, and treating yourself and valuing your own design work. I know that for me, I have a tendency in the past and still now I am growing and looking at this within myself, a tendency to be hard on myself and demand a little too much of myself, and that ends up in not necessarily having very healthy boundaries around my work and feeling like I've accomplished something and done a really great job for somebody when I actually have. But that also comes down to not over-promising to people, and that doesn't mean that you're going to only offer in your conversations with someone, only offer a very mediocre design package, but it also means like not just throwing out a bunch of random stuff to somebody about, oh, I'll do this, I'll do that, just because you think that that would make them feel like they're getting more value. Because when it comes down to it, if you're doing a really thorough job on design and you create a manageable plan for somebody to actually put their permaculture design into action, that's really what they were looking for, right? And so ultimately the price doesn't necessarily matter. It's, do they feel like they got what you said you'd give them under the price that you guys both agreed to. So my service is always evolving. For example, I would like to maybe have a little more of a follow-up aspect included in the price of my designs, to be able to check in with people and have that time covered in the future. It's really interesting when we're getting into time and money exchange, and of course there is a world in the future, hopefully, where we don't necessarily have such a focus on money, but money's a really powerful tool for us to do more of the work we want to in the world and get the word out about what we do, have more time and freedom to be able to look more into better ways of doing things. For example, going to professional development events, stuff like that. It's just an interesting dance, figuring out what is the time money exchange going on here, and what am I actually providing? How is that value reflected in the final deliverables, for example, that somebody is getting? And is this truly usable for them? Is this something that they can go back to time and again and realize, oh wow, yeah, he or she figured this out for me. This was a great value for my money. That's what you want your clients to think. And so getting feedback is really helpful for that. So if you guys got something out of this, I'd love to know what stood out for you. If there's anything in particular, leave a comment below. Also, if you have any questions, I'm sure other people have the same one. And if you're interested in one-on-one mentorship, I do have a spot open, and I'd love to talk more about it and learn more about you. You can learn more about me. We can get on a call and figure out if it's a good fit. And I hope you guys have a beautiful weekend. I'll be here in Wisconsin for another day, and then heading back up to Minnesota to get moving on the spring season of design work that's coming my way. Lots of pollinator gardens, rain gardens, and some bigger projects coming my way through nonprofits that I've met. It's pretty exciting, and I'll tell you more about that as those develop. Hope you guys have a great time, and definitely let me know if you got any questions. Check out the video with Ben Missimer that we did on Wednesday if you're interested in learning more about drone photography and creating topography from those images, as well as just getting accurate photography you can create a base map from. It should be pretty useful stuff.